If users of your help system are going to be viewing your content in a web browser, one of the best and easiest ways to control how and where content appears on the page is to use tables. Tables have been used since the beginning of HTML coding, but it is a little bit tricky, and if you don't know HTML coding, the good news is you can do it all here in RoboHelp. That's what we're going to talk about now using another version of our project called Using LDC Tables. You can see it's a very pared down version. We have 3 topics, and we're going to go to the memberships topic. And as we scroll down to the bottom of the paragraph, before we get to that graphic, maybe it'd be nice to insert a table here that is going to allow us to add the pricing, but we want the prices to line up nicely, so the best way to do that is to use a table. So we'll just hit enter a couple of times to leave some empty space and insert our table. Well, there's a couple of different ways to do that. We can go to the table menu, and right at the top you'll see insert and then table. Another option is to use the tables toolbar. Now by default it's not going to appear up here at the top of your user interface, but if we go to view, down to toolbars, we can turn it on. It's called Tables and Borders, and when we select it, we now have a number of options for working with and formatting tables. So from here, we actually have a button that allows us to insert a table, and when we click that button, you'll see some squares. Now if we wanted to, we could choose a number of rows and columns this way. Or you could go to Insert Table. That'll open up a dialog that will allow us to choose a number of rows and columns. But this is a nice little shortcut. Let's just do a 2 by 2. When we see 2 columns and 2 rows highlighted, we click, and there's our table. And you can see what happens. By default, it fills the entire width of our page. So we have 2 equal columns and 2 equal rows, all of which can be adjusted after the fact. But for now, let's just get some content in here. You see the cursor flashing in the very first cell. Let's say we want to have a column with the different types of memberships, and then we need columns to display pricing. So let's type in monthly, and then right below that we'll click and type in annual. And over here we're going to add pricing, but then we realize, wait a second, we can have different types of monthly and annual. There's standard and there's premium. So in that case we do need an extra column. So we click over here, knowing that columns, when we insert them, will be inserted to the left. So let's go up to our toolbar that we just turned on, and you'll see a series of buttons for inserting rows as well as columns. We can also delete rows and columns using buttons here on the toolbar. But for now, we need to insert an extra column. So we'll click that button, and there it is. It's highlighted right in the middle. Now we have 3 equal columns. So in this case, we're going to have pricing for our standard, and over here we'll have pricing for our premium memberships. Wouldn't it be nice if we had labels above, just so users knew what they were looking at? We need to insert another row. So let's go up to the toolbar, and we'll choose the Insert Row button. Now we have an extra row inserted above our cursor. Perfect. And we can click in the second column at the top and just type in standard. Use your tab key if you like to move from cell to cell. We'll type in premium. And now all we need are some prices. So let's go underneath standard here next to monthly, and we'll type in 25 per month. You can use your tab key and type in $37.50 per month. And then we'll add some annual pricing as well. Here's our $250 per year. And here's our $375 per year for the premium. That's the best deal right there. So there we have our first table, equal columns, equal rows. We have a table that's going to expand across the entire page by default. And we have some content in here, knowing that we can easily add and remove columns and rows. So once we've got our content, it's now time to make it look good. That's coming up next.